Hey guys, Bollywood is filled with beautiful tales. Love stories, sad stories, breakups, link-ups, live-ins. Mention the word and Bollywood is filled with these disasters as well as beautiful things. One such story that I would like to talk about today is the famous Gulzar Saab and his wife Rakhee. Did you know that Gulzar Saab was not Gulzar? His name was Sampurn Singh Kalra. And he was born in Pakistan, Peshawar. And when he, just before the partition, when he came to Mumbai, he didn't have work. He was good with his pen. He used to always feel that he can write a lot of poetry, he can, write beautiful verses and put it up. But when he came, he didn't find any work. And generally this is what happens with talented people. You don't know where to, portray your talent. So to survive in a place like Mumbai and to be able to fill his empty belly, Gulzar Saab had to work. So he worked as a mechanic in a garage. You're right, he worked as a mechanic. But his passion was so strong that even as a mechanic, whenever he got the free time, he used to sit down and he used to, jot down whatever came to his mind, all his sher and shairis and poetries and whatever, songs, whatever came to his mind, he used to jot it down. And it was this passion of his that one day Gulzar Saab became Gulzar. He reached such fame in Bollywood that no one can ever imagine another Gulzar in Bollywood today. But luckily or unluckily, he married this very famous Rakhee. I'm sure you remember, all of you remember Rakhee, the beautiful Rakhee in Kabhi Kabhi, and all the time she was either Amitabh Bachchan's lover, or she was Shashi Kapoor's lover, or then she started playing sister roles, then she started playing mother roles. So she had, a variety of films under her, but she was a very, very beautiful and successful heroine in her days. And it so happened that our Gulzar Saab once met her in a party and he fell in love with her. Now that's cute because everyone has a right to fall in love with the people they love. So when he fell in love with her, she was a superstar, and of course Gulzar was also already well established in Bollywood. So they decided to get married. Yeah? So they got married, and the condition which Gulzar Saab kept made for Rakhee was after their marriage rather, Rakhee was not allowed to work in any of the films. She should be a housewife. That was what his his dream was, maybe, of a woman in his life, of a wife in his life. So it so happened that Rakhee, maybe she agreed or maybe she did not agree. We don't know their personal matters. But it so happened that after a year itself, when their daughter Meghna was born, their breakup happened in the marriage. It was very ugly. It was an ugly turn. And if you, turn up the magazines of the 1980s and the 1970s, you'll find, very strange, maybe very ugly stories too, where maybe sometimes it's said that Gulzar Saab hit Rakhee. He beat her up so badly that she used to get bruised, she used to drink a lot. In some stories, we hear that it was, this film where Sanjeev Kumar and Suchitra Sen were acting in Andhi in Kashmir, where Gulzar Saab was there, and he was the lyrics writer of the film, and where it is said that Rakhee wanted to be with Gulzar Saab then, and he didn't want her to be there. So Rakhee suspected something wrong. So when she went up to Kashmir, coincidentally, Sanjeev Kumar was apparently, we don't know whether there's truth to this story, but apparently Sanjeev Kumar, who's of course no more with us, was misbehaving with Suchitra, who was his co-star, and in a party he had got drunk, Sanjeev Kumar, and he wanted to, apparently he was trying to misbehave and trying to kiss her and do all those sorts of things which Gulzar Saab did not like, apparently. So while he was taking Suchitra with him to her hotel room, that was the same time when Rakhee came and she saw her husband holding on to another woman and taking her to her room, going with her to her room. And of course, like any other Indian Bollywood movie or any other Indian woman who's on ethics and beliefs and who's actually standing on her own two feet, will not accept, no one will accept if they see their husband with another woman. So it is said that at that point, without even trying to consider what could have been the reason, there was an argument between the two, and Gulzar Saab raised his hand on Rakhee and he hit her. She got bruised and she left. And coincidentally for her, Yash Chopra Saab was in Kashmir, so Rakhee had come to know about it. So she went directly to Yash Chopra Saab and she said, can I work in your film? So Yash Chopra was quite amused, because then he told Rakhee, I was just going to ask Gulzar Saab if he can allow me to work, but I didn't know you were here, Rakhee. So she said, no, I'm here and I'm going to work and you don't have to ask Gulzar Saab. Now that was the point. She signed Kabhi Kabhi and Gulzar Saab was so upset that without taking his permission, she had signed a movie. And the breakup happened, the split, the biggest split. But there's one thing very interesting about Rakhee again. Their daughter Meghna Gulzar was born. She's still there. She's a successful film director now. She's into movies. She enjoys her filmy work. But there's one very, very interesting thing about Rakhee. I read in a trade magazine about Rakhee ji saying that all alone, living a simple life, she's changed drastically from what she was. Her whole appearance has changed, but those beautiful eyes, those light brown eyes of hers and that smile just remain as they are, the beautiful Rakhee. So I just read this article on her where she says that though they are apart, Gulzar and Rakhee. Now look at the beauty of it. Look at the beauty of this. Though they are apart, neither did Rakhee marry again, nor did Gulzar Saab. They lived apart because their thought process did not meet. But till date, Rakhee says they respect each other. Now, isn't that a great thing? To respect each other. To respect each other even though your thoughts don't meet. So Rakhee respected and still respects Gulzar Saab. They have not come together as one. Yes, many times nowadays you must have seen them maybe in a few, filmy events or maybe in some parties. Maybe just one or two you may just spot them, but not so much. Not so much. But Rakhee says that Gulzar Saab once told her that even now, like if there are some guests at his home and Gulzar Saab gives her a ring and says, Rakhee, I've got guests at home, so send some jhinga fry over to the place because there's no one to cook. And Rakhee prepares all the dinner and she packs them up and she takes them to Gulzar Saab's home so that he can entertain his guests. Now, isn't this very beautiful? I think this is a very, very beautiful love story. I wouldn't call it very sad. I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't sympathize with it because love is attraction also. You can have an infatuation also. You can fall out of love also. But if you have respect in love, even when you're not together, even when you're miles apart, if you have respect in love, that bond that is there. It can be as a husband and a wife, it can be as two lovers, it can be as anyone under the sun. If the respect is there, I think you've achieved the most commendable thing under the roof. Because there's really no point living together and having a bad day every day. It's better you live apart and stay with happy memories and be there for each other whenever time demands from you. And I think that's the beauty of Gulzar Saab and Rakhee's story, the beautiful love story. If you like this story, do comment below and let me know which other couple story or which other story from Bollywood you would love to listen to, and I will tell them to you straight from the heart. Thank you. Bye.